A lot of effort tonight. What's the verdict?
Well, they started very quick with a goal, and I thought they dominated the first 15-20 minutes, but after that I thought we dominated most of the game. We created the chances. Donnarumma made some brilliant saves, and it's only half time. We take a lot of positives from this. We know they are a top team, but credit to the players for the effort that we put on the pitch, that we could have won the game as well.
Were you caught a little bit cold with the goal? It was a 26-pass move. They seem to get through very easily.
Well, we know they keep the possession a lot, and they're really good at that. And obviously they had that chance and they put it back in the net, and obviously that went for them. And that's just football, and we had the chances to score, but we didn't manage to put the goal.
Well, you put the ball in the net just after half-time. The margins were so tight. You didn't have that lift-off moment. You heard the roar of the crowd when Arsenal scored. Just needed that lift-off moment tonight, didn't it?
Yeah, I've not seen the goal back. Well, the disallowed goal from Mikel, but we needed that. I think we needed that lift, and we showed from the 20th, 25th minute from the first half that we can win against any team, and we showed this season that we can win in an away game as well. So we're going to go to Paris next week to win the game. Did
you lose a bit of balance, do you think, with no Thomas Partey? Having looked so good against Real Madrid, just did it affect things not only in midfield but in attack? Well, we know how important Thomas is for us, but luckily enough we have a good depth in midfield and in the team that everybody kind of stepped in, and obviously it was Declan who played as a 6, and I think he showed a great game as well. He was really good on the ball, and I think everyone was really good today. It's make it happen, the Champions League motto. You've seen it. It was there on display tonight. So how do you make it happen next week? Just try to approach the game the same way. I thought we played really well, and we put them in the back foot. We hurt them a lot. I know they created their chances as well, but that's part of football. But we created a lot of chances as well. So just approach the same way, and we know we can win against any team. And of course, it could have been a lot bigger, 1 goal bigger, the PSG margin, but for a great save by yourself in the first half. Yeah, I'm there just for the team, to try and help the team as much as possible. And luckily enough, I managed to save the ball, and I'm just happy with that save. So just let's go next week against Paris, and in Paris, and then let's win the game. Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
The thing that we were saying off air with Jamie is that the plus is that it's not 2-0 for Paris Saint-Germain, because they had some opportunities at the end that would have been debatable or no, because we don't know if it was offside or not. But since they didn't score, we couldn't check if it was offside or not. But for me, I have to say that Paris Saint-Germain in so many ways were a bit more dominant than Arsenal. You could see at the end that they were trying to keep the result. Yes, Donnarumma made a great save on Martinelli in that 1v1. Same, Arsenal had some chances also, would have been debatable again, because it would have gone down to see if it was some offsides or not. But overall, you cannot say that the 1-0 is not deserved. Having saying that, it's still another game. Anything can happen there. But this is a team, like I said to you, that knows how to control their subject, and they did that tonight.
Paris Saint-Germain were far better than Arsenal and deserved to win. But that doesn't mean Arsenal cannot go through. They will need Paris Saint-Germain to drop their level slightly in the second leg, and Arsenal just need to raise their level, and maybe then they meet somewhere in the middle, and then it's about who gets the first goal. If PSG get the first goal in the second leg, it's probably tie over.
Well, Michael, we got a full post-game coming.
Let's go! Hey, let's go!
1 full hour, everybody.
Stick with us, please. Stick with us.
We have the usual. We have highlights,
highlights,
interviews.
Yes, the whole lot.
The whole shebang.
I was going to say that word.
Yes, the whole shebang over on Paramount Plus for a full hour. Please do join us. Thank you for watching on CBS. We'll see you on Paramount Plus.
Manchester City, when they were at their best, their defending is the possession of the football. That's how they defend. And Paris are a bit like that. I think their confidence to play in areas where you go, oh, I wouldn't be doing that. You know, their belief in their own ability to keep the football is mind-blowing at times. I've been so impressed with where this team has grown this year. Yeah. And you can say there's a swagger about them. There's a confidence about them. And they could have put the game to bed. I said unless it's 3 either way, then this game's alive. And they could have, Barcola and
Barcola
and the new striker who came in.
And the striker Gomez.
Gomez came in. Those could easily have put Arsenal at the time.
Honourable mention for our colleague Didier Domi, who has backed them all season long. If you're watching Didier, halfway to a final. Second leg is for Wednesday, the 7th of May. We're back on our usual time, 2100 Mecca. And tomorrow night we have the first leg of the other semi-final, Barcelona-Inter. Barca flying right now. Everything they touch is turning to gold. On an evening tonight when Paris have gone into North London, silenced a fairly vociferous crowd and won by a 0-0. Can't start speculating that it's a dangerous lead, can we? It's a great lead to have.
Yeah, but it's not secure. Because the good thing is now that, the away goals doesn't count. So you still have an open game, for me at least. I think that they will feel the same thing, Arsenal. They have to also, because you lost. But 1-0 is not a certainty.
No, but you'd take it, wouldn't you?
No, yeah,
if you'd said prior to the game,
take it.
You can leave here with that. Brilliant.
It's a
all
nice,
day long. All day long. Rudd's right. It's far from over, Kesey. And, Arsenal are very capable of going to Paris and winning 1-0, winning in penalties or winning 2-0. Yeah. They are capable enough of doing that. One thing that always worries me about this Arsenal side at the very highest levels is they have great players, they have really good players at the top end, but scoring goals at really important times, like Dembele has done this season for them, Arsenal don't have that. They just don't. And even less so now we have Havertz's injury and Jesus injured for such a long time. They just don't have. They have really good players, can play wonderful football, get a few goals, but and when it really matters, have they got that cutting edge? And sometimes I feel at the top level they don't, and that might cost them again in Paris.
Yeah, I mean it's 1-0. If you've played in this competition, you know how 1-0. It's not a massive lead. So I'm sure Paris they're not overly excited. Yes, 1-0 is it's a massive lead, but I think the problem tonight is Arsenal. They just couldn't get the ball off this Paris team. They control the game from the start to finish, and I don't know why Arsenal they started so passively. It's like they gave them this ball here. Just took 4 or 5 Arsenal players out of the game, and we thought that this pass is tooth, but he's just there.
It was an overhit pass, wasn't it? It's just a scuffler of a finish, but it kind of all worked out.
Yeah, it worked out really well.
The ball that was played into Dembele, did they work that?
I saw them use. They did that a lot at Villa Park. When Dembele did that at Villa Park an awful lot. Keys in the first half, got a lot of joy from that. I know what you're saying about them starting passives, John, but I just think that they started so well, Paris, that it didn't matter what Arsenal did in those first 10, 15 minutes. They just couldn't get near them because they were that good.
They were very, very good,
and the goal obviously rocked Arsenal. You lose a goal in the first 2 minutes. It does rock you a little bit, and it did.
But that ball there, you can see that this here for me is a penalty.
This is a penalty.
All day
Still
long.
think that's a pen?
All day long.
Still a penalty.
Okay.
All day long.
So does he.
Yeah, but the thing is, he was there.
Yeah.
He could look. He just holds him. He blocks. He blocks him for shooting a goal.
But Timber doesn't even know where the ball is anymore.
Look,
he wasn't even looking at the ball, Timber. That's my.
The referee, he had a really good game, I thought, tonight as well.
Yes.
He got most things absolutely spot on.
I think that's the only one he's missed there.
He's right there, isn't he?
Wide there
But
in front of the
VAR also has a saying that, and they said the same thing.
No. Yeah.
But we were talking about in the beginning of the game. Midfield of Paris Saint-Germain is so good. It's so good. They're so comfortable at the ball, and it was odd to see an Arsenal who dominates in the Premier League to see them not having a sniff.
Yeah.
Sometimes when they play, it's unbelievable. This
That is a great circle.
Yeah,
that was unbelievably good.
They are so good on the ball, very comfortable on the ball. They pass the ball in tight areas, those 3 in the midfield. But they're so good on the ball that they control the ball. They know exactly what to do. And they work their socks off. Look at that. That is a an important tackle there.
But they all do, Ridge, right?
Yeah.
The main difference in this team is that the front three, they don't just play up the top end of the pitch. They work their socks back, helping fullbacks. Even Dembele's probably the only one that they allow not to come back. That is a massive save.
Yeah.
Massive save.
Yeah. And I think he sussed it out. He saw him opening himself. He thought he's gonna, pick that corner, and he anticipated it well. And this was, for me, clear offside.
For all of us, really, and it took forever to sort out.
It took a while. I can understand it because it was a very important,
wasn't it?
An important moment.
So many players.
But you can see it from another angle. I think here, this angle, you can see it really clear. Yeah,
I think it was.
You see only white.
I think it was just Kvaratskhelia that seems like he's played the Arsenal team on, but still it was an offside. Yeah.
When we saw that, Andy, during the game, you said here, would you have the courage to step out?
Yes, I was thinking about the same thing. Why would you not do that?
If you know what Arsenal are doing, right? They set up, then they run across you. So if you have a sign, and you say, as soon as they start, just go out 2 yards.
Just go out, yes, yeah. It's
3
offside.
yards.
Yeah, it's always offside.
Yeah, I think it was Benitez we did that with.
But you'd have to be.
Was it?
Yeah, I think somebody, JT, would scream, blue, something. And then we all ran out, and it was an offside. But sometimes
just as he's playing it, I'll go out. The danger is somebody's asleep.
Yeah, it's a bit risky, isn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, come on, you play against Arsenal, you do only this against Arsenal.
Yeah, of course.
You know that.
Yeah.
And by the way, another great
save. For me, he was absolutely brilliant tonight, Donnarumma. The saves he made, I mean, he's kept this scoreline 1-0. And
that's a great save. Do you know that run that we saw Declan Rice make there and play him in? That's the only time we saw him really influence the game at the
Do you
high
think
end
he
of the
missed
pitch.
Partey?
I think they did miss Partey.
But
Yes.
Rice in particular?
Yeah, probably, because he allows him to go. Whereas I think with Odegaard...
Oh, what a chance. Here. Look, this is not easy, but it's still not easy. But he could have done better, you know.
But I'm sure Partey's back next week. Yeah, one game he missed. Well, so that'll make a difference. That will make a difference too.
In midfield, huh?
Yes, and it'll allow Declan Rice to go forward more as well.
It gives him that license to bomb forward, isn't he? Yeah. And he likes to do that as well, Declan Rice. I think he understands. Yeah.
Come on. Yeah,
it's just wonderful. I don't know whether he wouldn't have been offside.
Offside, eh?
Yeah, he looked offside. Yeah. Right back's playing him on, I think. Yeah. But what a chance for.
But still,
Barcola.
make the goal and then we decide.
Yes,
by the way,
score.
By the way, there's another one coming up now when Gonzalo Ramos comes in. So both subs had wonderful opportunities. Now he toe pokes this. It was a strange one for me.
Yeah, but I think it was also offside.
No, I don't know.
Which one?
Don't know.
I think so as well. Look at it here.
No, I don't know. I think it's very close. I think
very close. But okay. But then still,
finish it and then argue about it.
Yeah, but the thing is, for him, what happens is, he was hoping for some support,
and there was
no support. There was no support, so that was the only thing he could do.
And you just wondered whether they would pay for that missed chances. Not an easy chance, but
yeah, this is poor.
I think the tie is not over. I think Arsenal know that, and Paris also know that. I think Luis Enrique is very experienced enough to know that this tie is not over. But the good thing is that Paris, they are very, very good at home. Very, very good at home. So they think this is a big lead for them going into the second leg.
See, I think Paris will score in Paris. I think they'll score. So I think Arsenal will know going there. I think they'll feel we've got to get 2 at the end of the game.
Look, they know what they have to do. They have to control midfield, but that's the most difficult part. And they can't do it.
No.
They can't do it.
You have to get the ball first.
You have to,
do you know those three?
You can also press a little bit more, a little bit better.
But I think if Partey comes back, I think that might be better. Obviously, Declan Rice will have to jump to go and press a bit more. Because tonight you can see he was just sitting there trying to control. But I think when Partey plays, it gives him that license not only to go and press, also when they have the ball, he's that guy with the legs to drive them forward. I think they missed that tonight. You just said it. There was one time when he did that. And he also almost creates some sort of a chance. So I think when Partey comes back in the team, I think this Arsenal side, they are they play much different. Also, Odegaard has more license to be more creative as well. So it's not a done game. This I think Paris knows that, and Arsenal also know that as well.
It's just
ridiculous.
To ease the
You
tension.
asked me something that you have to say. During the World War 40-45, if there was a German spy or whatever, they just ask him, what is the city on the sea called near Den Haag? And it's called Scheveningen.
And if you can't say that, you give yourself away.
You would be dead already. You for sure.
Can you try?
Paris lead by a 1-0, a stunning opener. We did say if they replicate what they did against Villa, there'll be trouble. Well, they haven't got 2, but they've got 1.
I mean, this is taking this right back, and you can count the passes if you want, if you're at home. But this is when they are at their very best. This is what they did to Villa for the half. And I didn't expect it in the first 4 minutes of the football match, but this is the way they move the ball about. This is how comfortable they are. They'll play it in tight spaces. They're not scared to give their mate a ball when there's players around them. And then they just pick the right time to extend it and open them up. Look at this, little tight areas that they play in, and they're so comfortable with the football.
27 passes.
27, amazing.
But here you go. It comes at the moment, and Dembele comes back into midfield, and the defenders stay where they are.
You can see
and
Dembele
they wait.
near the
They
referee.
wait. They wait
and
for
it's
that
this
moment.
pass coming up here.
Here.
This is the one coming up.
Yeah.
And he fires that
This
one.
is the one.
There
Yeah.
it is.
And then you
and
open
then
it.
they've gone. And then Kvaratskhelia has gone this side.
Yeah.
I think for 1 second there we thought he overcooked this pass, but then Kvaratskhelia got it, and then as he always do,
We were
committed
talking about
defender.
it,
And this
pointing
one-
immediately. Yeah.
Scooped it, I mean, shinned it, but back on the net. I mean, Paris controlled the first 15-20 minutes. They were much better side. They controlled the game. I think the 3 in the middle with João Neves, Vitinha, and Ruiz, they passed Arsenal out. They controlled the game. But then I think for the last 10-15 minutes, Arsenal came back into it. I think they had to grow into the game, Arsenal. I think also with their fans as well, screaming.
You can imagine this.
Were they a little bit too passive in the beginning?
I think
they were trying to see what the situation was, but you give the opposition the opportunity to do what they wanted to do.
Anybody giving a not 1 but 2 clear penalty appeals from teams? Anybody here giving penalties?
The lads think that Paris may have had a case for one.
Now, one was for sure a penalty. Come on, this one.
You giving this one?
Yeah, come on, he's holding it. The referee is there, eh?
Do you know what's strange, Ruud? In the Premier League, when we watch that every week, that kind of thing wouldn't be given, because what they would say in the Premier League, well, he didn't have hold of him
Andy,
enough.
I'll give that. Look at
Exactly.
I agree with you. He blocks him.
I agree.
He's gone past him.
There
you go.
That should be But they would tell you, honestly, John, they will tell you in the Premier League, he only put his arm across.
Well, because he didn't hold him for too long.
Hold him long enough.
No.
Yes.
I'm not buying that.
Yeah, but he blocks him for having a shot.
I agree with you.
Because
He
he's
had
gone
another
past
shot.
He's gone past
I agree.
him, and he was very close to the goal.
I don't make the laws.
Yeah, he's very close to the goal. If he didn't pull him, he would have had a chance. He would have had a shot on goal.
Yes,
So
I
for
agree.
me, he impeded.
Is that a new rule?
Kvaratskhelia. So
is that
what
VAR?
are you saying? Because he didn't.
VAR didn't do nothing.
No, I mean, I don't know. The reason I'm surprised, Ruud, is normally you do get these in Europe. Europe referee and use VAR differently, and I am surprised. But that wouldn't have been given in the Premier League. Definitely not.
But look, he can see it.
It wouldn't have been given.
He's clearly put his arm around to stop him from
agreed.
He impeded him.
Agreed.
And for me, it's clear and obvious. That is a penalty.
There you go.
It is a penalty.
What do you think, Keezy?
I just think he went to ground too dramatically. This one?
Great tackle.
No, this has nothing to do with the penalty. Nothing. Not
By the
even
way, full
close.
maps to the referee. He sees it.
This is so obvious.
Great tackle.
Here.
Yeah,
you
they
can
got
see
the
it.
ball.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
All day
Fabulous
long, got the
tackle.
ball.
Yeah. So the referee saw that also clearly. Look,
Yeah, you can
he's
see what it
there.
is.
He sees the ball being played by the player. No penalty at all.
The Arsenal fans clearly didn't have the same view as us, and that's why they were as
All the fans.
vociferous half time.
They all do that.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But 1-0 it is. Right on half time, well, Donnarumma on half time. Raya, prior to that, has made a big save. 2-0, it's a different second half, isn't it?
It would have been. I mean, that was basically the best other chance that Paris had, this one here. I think it's Desiree Doué who opens it up and it's a fabulous save from Raya. Because it's quite close in and he hits it past a couple of players. It's a brilliant save.
Yeah, brilliant.
And then
save.
offside.
And then they
Strong
flag
hands.
for offside.
Strong hands.
Yeah.
Brilliant save.
But
I think it's also the same thing just before the end of the half with Arsenal, the chance Martinelli had as well. Brilliant save from Donnarumma. For me, two keepers have kept the scoreline to 1-0.
Great save. He's going the other way and he has to stop and get down. Fabulous save.
So it is only one. It's a big one if you're a Paris fan.
Raya just before half-time as well, exhorting the crowd. He wants a little bit more from them. They did come into it in the latter part of the first half, but it was a nightmare start, Kenny, 1-0 early doors.
Yeah, it really was. Made a reasonable start, Arsenal, in terms of getting on their front foot and putting a bit of a high press on. But like we spoke before, PSG don't panic. They look to play their football. They trust each other. And we saw that in the lead up to the opening PSG goal. Playing out from the back, players comfortable on the ball. Understanding what areas of the pitch they need to be at any given time. You can see here, Nuno Mendes gets the ball. Look at the quality of that ball into Dembele. Big acre of space there. Question marks in terms of the Arsenal players who should be picking him up. But look how quickly they move it to the edge of the box. He's forced a little bit wide here as far as Skelia. But it's a decent enough finish from Dembele. This is what I'm talking about when we hold it here, that big space. Which Arsenal player should be pressing? I don't think it's Kivior, the left side of centre half. Neves is pinning him. Martinelli's the one for me, the Arsenal left winger. Look at him, he's 10 yards to the left of Dembele. Could he recognise that early on and get across and force him back the pitch? Maybe so, but as we run it on, we can see Dembele's checked his shoulder. He knows the space in behind him. Now Arsenal are on the back foot as opposed to being on the front foot, trying to put the high press on. I think they've got a lot of bodies back here, Arsenal. I don't think, I question Declan Rice and Marina, the two Arsenal centre midfielders here. In the modern game, we always know players are looking for this cut back to the edge of the box. He's got a lot of time there, Dembele, to size that up. Decent enough finish, but just clinical in terms of how they get from one end of the pitch to the other.
Decent finish, though.
I think it was an unbelievable finish. He's tested him really with that pass back to him, bobbling it into him to keep it down and slot it into the corner off the post.
I think I was going to just question, sorry Shane, was Declan Rice's movement, because he actually was with Dembele, wasn't he? And he sprinted to probably Carragher because he's so good. He thought he had to double up on him, but then the space opened up for Dembele, didn't it?
It's a typical one for that. Don't be overly critical of Declan Rice there. He holds on to Dembele. As far as Skelia drops the shoulder into him but puts it in the goal, you're screaming at your midfielder, wouldn't you get over and double up? Unfortunately, Odegaard couldn't get back quickly enough. Just think Marino there, the other centre midfielder, can he sense the danger? That defensive mentality, we spoke about Partey in there. Potentially Partey sees that, reacts quickly and gets out there. Marino, not so much.
So they're on the rack a little bit early on. There was a big penalty shout. Shay, what did you think of this?
Well, I think it's a penalty. I really do. Kenny might disagree as an ex-defender, but Carragher, we talked about why did Declan Rice jump. Do you know why? Because this guy's so good on the ball. We spoke about it before the game. There's 3 Arsenal players around him at this stage. I think he's through the space here. I mean, Rice mops up the thing. I don't think Timber knows Rice is there. He's clearly put his arm across the moon and stopped him getting into the space. I think he's gone here. You know, he's actually wrapped his arm around him. I think he's very, very lucky to get away with that.
No, I don't think it's a penalty. He is very lucky, you're absolutely right. He knows he's done on the inside, but to be fair to him, he doesn't grab his jersey, he doesn't wrap his arm around him.
He does wrap his arm around him, don't lie.
But he lets it go quickly enough. You're entitled, it's a physical contact sport.
Yeah, you have to put your arm out, but you can't wrap your arm around someone like that. It's a penalty.
You can put your arm across him and use that upper body strength and try and impose yourself.
He just said he didn't wrap his arm around him. He just did. We just watched him wrap his arm around him.
Yeah, but you're allowed to wrap, as long as you let go quick enough. If you hold it there, then you impede him, you stop his forward momentum. I understand that. I just think there's a thin dividing line there. I think he let go quickly enough. I think as far as Skelly, when he felt the contact, he was looking to go down.
Kenny says no, Shay says yes. We'll move on to the next penalty appeal, Shane, because this one was waved away quickly enough. I think for to look at it, you feel there might have been something in this for Arsenal?
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I think it's a good tackle. He does really well to get back in time and make the challenge. But I think just before he actually gets the ball, his trail leg catches Marino's striking leg.
Yeah, there's a really good angle coming up in a moment.
Yeah, it's just coming up here now. If you can see it here, he just it's minimal. It's like right now and then ball. So he does catch the player first. It's one of them. If the referee gives the penalty, I think it stands because he does catch the player first. But I don't know if he'll overturn a decision for that.
No, well, it didn't happen for them anyway, and not much was happening for Arsenal for a lot of that half. They did get going towards the end, and they'll hope for a lot more in the second. We're back